Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. And today, what I want to talk about is the Giants, and then we'll get into a quick Matt Stafford topic at the end. I don't want to make them like two separate videos. I just make them into one and just get it over with for the day because I have a lot of topics I want to talk about. At least try to get one video done a day, not like five. But the first thing I want to talk about is something that came up right before I started recording. Dave DeGuglielmo, I think that's how you pronounce his name. It was officially clarified on Twitter, but I'll put the tweet out on the screen so we officially know how to pronounce his name, and hopefully we'll get it after a while. But what basically, he had a press conference, his first press conference as a Giant. He's like, I want to be in the same place for 15 years. I hate bouncing around. I want continuity. And this whole Giants thing is very confusing to him because it's like learning a whole new language. Which, you know, we all know when we learn a whole new language, it's just like, I remember speaking Italian. I'm like, do people actually speak this language? It feels like you're just muttering things and you don't quite grasp the knowledge. And so he's comparing a little bit to like learning a whole new language. He wants to stay in the same place for 15 years. We're not trying to win a Super Bowl this year. We're just trying to get better. Ideally, we would have had him for the entire offseason. It would have been helpful. I think Joe Judge is still going to help the offensive line a little bit, ease him into the job. But yeah, those are kind of my takeaways. Hopefully we can have him for years and years. It's just the way the NFL works. You know, a coach doesn't like you. You know, the GM gets fired and the new GM just decides to hire all new people, new head coach, and just decides to gut the entire team. So things happen, you know, and, you know, hopefully we could have a couple of years with him as coach. Hopefully 5 solid years. And our offensive line could, improve, and we could bring more offensive guards in after Kevin Zeitler leaves, and hopefully we have a stable position at least to help, even when Daniel Jones leaves or whatever. Hopefully have him for long, but have a solidified offensive line for whoever is playing quarterback at the time. And speaking about Daniel Jones, I think that this injury could be good for him. Now, when I was first coming up with the topic of this video, I was like, does this really make sense? But when I compared his ceiling, I said Ryan Tannehill. Now, a guy that probably won't win an MVP, but kind of, would be in the kind of discussion maybe for a couple weeks. But ultimately, we want to rely on him on the run game and him throwing one or two, three maybe deep passes per game. Now, with the RPO, we relied on that for big offensive plays. But I think what we need to do is get him a wide receiver one and have those deep plays and rely on those more than the RPO, because we've seen with running quarterbacks, it's not sustainable. Colin Kaepernick, Lamar Jackson, even if you're good at avoiding tackles and stuff, the better quarterbacks, it's not about designed runs. You can design a run or two maybe per game to catch people off guard and keep people on their toes, but you can't do it like 3-4 times a game because eventually it catches up to you, it adds on. But it's scrambling like a Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, like that athleticism versus organized runs. With a Ryan Tannehill, they barely run any RPOs. Ryan Tannehill probably could do it, but they know, okay, we need you for those 1, 2, 3 throws. We don't need you for that run game. We have a guy, Derrick Henry, that can produce a solid run game. Now, Saquon Barkley, it almost feels like boom or bust with him, but if he can develop into a guy that can get you kind of like a Derrick Henry production, that's what your ideal offensive unit will be. And I think this injury for him, as far as whether it being good or bad, obviously you don't want a guy having a hamstring injury, but it'll rein him in a little bit more. When he needs to use his athleticism, he will, like out of desperation, more than Eli Manning did. Eli Manning usually just threw it away or, threw it to the ground, kind of like what Tom Brady does. But running is an asset. Well, Tom Brady, he's a statue. You have to use that asset. That's what makes Aaron Rodgers great. But we don't design many runs off of that. We've seen quarterbacks like Mitch Trubisky, like the new wave, they kind of design those runs because they are limited throwing the ball. Like a lot of those quarterbacks that do have that option, it's because they're limited throwing the ball. I don't think Daniel Jones is that limited throwing the ball. Maybe a little bit to the outside. He's not like ideal. He's not like a Patrick Mahomes that can make 99.99% of the throws. Daniel Jones can make 95% of them. He's not awful. And yeah, so I think this injury may be good for him because it will rein him in a little bit more and make him develop a little bit more as far as being able to, look off defensive backs and being like, okay, I'm going to move you with my eyes and doing those sort of things, making him better with those details, not too much relying on his offensive ability because he does struggle sliding and he's going to get himself killed out there. And we're lucky that ended up being this minor injury rather than this great deal and this huge thing. And And you know what? I was going to do that Matthew Stafford topic like I suggested earlier in the video, but I want to just keep on talking Giants. I kind of want to do that. We'll do the Matthew Stafford topic maybe tomorrow, the next day. I don't know. But as far as Dave Gettleman, I think we should keep him this year because him and Joe Judge have a good camaraderie. Obviously, looking back at the 2018 draft, Saquon Barkley, RJ McIntosh, and a lot of those picks, it's like, oh, Will Hernandez. Will Hernandez has been solid. Hopefully we have a good combo with Dave DeGooge or DeGooge, whatever. I said I knew, but I don't know his full name now. But, you know, the 2018 draft wasn't good. 2018 draft was kind of solid. 2020, it was good. Him and Joe Judge have a good camaraderie. In the long term, I think it'll be good. Keep them for 1-2 more years because there's so much competition this year for GMs. They're only like 2, 3, maybe 3 GM openings. Take a look at it now. There are 4 openings right now. And there could still be even more. So who are you going to get? The cream of the crop. Like the Texans are going to probably hire a Bill Belichickian guy. And, Louis Riddick is probably going to be gone. I don't think we should be competing with those and just fire Dave Gettleman because he is a pretty decent general manager. The rankings before the season had him like low 20s. I think, he's a little bit worse than average GM, I guess, because, Saquon Barkley pick wasn't sexy, but there's a lot of competition for GMs right now. I say keep Dave Gettleman for the next 2-3 years, have a reset, because, we just got a new coach, create some continuity with this team. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I mentioned earlier in the video with our offensive line coach. And some other notes, can we be an 8 seed this year? They're doing a lot of cancellations a lot of postponements. Once they cancel a game, then they're going to have to implement that 8 seed. Take a look at it now. The teams that are in that spot, Vikings 5-6, 49ers 5-6, beat the Cardinals who are 6-5. All of a sudden, I'll put up the standings right now. I'm like, the Giants may only need 6-7 wins. So we do win the tiebreaker against Washington. So we may be able to sneak in. It's a long shot, but there's something could be interesting, an interesting development that happens. I want to mention it now so it seems smart if it does happen. I just want to mention it. And, I definitely am interested to see going down the season, Dante Pettis, Corey Coleman, even though we cut him again. I don't think he's on the practice squad. But what are we doing with wide receiver here? Is Dante Pettis going to be a valuable asset to us running down the stretch? I'm very interested to see how that's going to work. We get to see now they have things on the line. I guess we're underdogs, but we're the top now at 4-7, but we're on the top. And forget about the 8 seed. We're actually favored to win our division. We're plus 200 according to the website I use, MyBookie. Washington is plus 210, so we're barely ahead of them, but still we're favored. So that's a step up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.